Hi, my name is Nicole Ruxton-Payne and welcome to my brand new series where I'll be discovering different families from all around the world.
This is Family Portrait.
Welcome back to Family Portrait. Throughout the second episode, I'll be talking to you about single-parent households and the stigma attached to both single mothers and single fathers, and what we can do not only as a society, but what our country's government can do to give more support to single-parent households. In 2015, there were 2 million single-parent households with dependent children in the UK. Among the EU member states, UK had one of the most highest ratings of single-parent households. But before we get into that, let's look at some of the history.
Single parenthood has been common historically due to parent mortality rate due to disease, wars, homicide, work accidents and maternal mortality. Historians estimate that in English villages in the 17th and 18th centuries, along with French and Spanish villages, at least 1/3 of children lost one of their parents during childhood. However, such single parenthood was often short in duration since remarriage rates were high during those times, and divorce was generally rare historically, depending on culture and era. Divorce especially became exceedingly difficult to obtain after the fall of the Roman Empire in medieval Europe due to strong involvement of the ecclesiastical courts in family life. Since 1996, the number of lone parent families has increased by 21.5%. Today, a quarter of all families in the UK with dependent children are headed by one parent, and some 3 million children live with these families.
So, why do single-parent families still suffer stigma when 1 in 4 children are brought up in single-parent households?
1 in 4 children now grow up in one-parent homes, and 42% marriages end in divorce, so we all expect prejudice against single parents to be a thing of the past. One of the most common symptoms of stigma is stereotyping, and the Daily Mail newspaper and Jeremy Kyle show were named as prime culprits for portraying teenage mums deliberately getting pregnant so they can scrounge off the state, and single mums don't know who the father of their children are. In an interview led by Dr. Nicola Carroll from the University of Huddersfield, she found her interviews to believe that these images are perpetuated in the media because it attracts larger audiences than reflecting realities of their own lives, such as balancing work and childcare. They were angry that programs portraying single parents as irresponsible. An article was published on Glue and Cheese in April 2019 by Jude Pepys-Clay, where he speaks about the single dad stigma. He talks about the traditional stereotype of a single dad, for example, where he had an affair or somehow caused the breakup of the marriage through being a bad person. Now he gets to see his kids once a fortnight at the weekends. He is pretty useless at household chores, just about getting by without washing up the plates more than once a week, and never remembers school events. The stereotypical single dad works all hours, so is often too busy to do any social events. He stands alone in the playground, on the school drop-offs, shunned by the parents in couples for being single. He is even shunned by the single mums for being different. The impact on single mothers and single fathers are both just as serious as each other, physically, socially and mentally. Single mothers and single fathers are likely to have mental health issues, financial hardships, live in a low-income area and receive low levels of social support. Solo fathers experience the same stress and strain as single mothers, which is likely related to low income and unemployment.
So we have looked at the physical, the mental and the social impacts on both single mothers and single fathers. But what impact has this had on children growing up with single parents? Let's take a look.
Living in a single-parent family is strongly correlated with school failure and problems including delinquency, drug use, teenage pregnancies, poverty and welfare dependency. Studies show that children living with one single parent have worse well-being in terms of physical behaviour, mental health, peer friendships, bullying, cultural activities, sports and family relationships compared to children from intact families. As a contrast, children in a shared parenting arrangement that live approximately equal amount of time with their divorced mother and father have about the same well-being as children from intact families and better outcomes than children with only one custodial parent.
So, what are the government doing in order to help and support single-parent families? The answer is not enough. The central government needs to focus on 2 obvious areas: affordable childcare and training opportunities. 2 more years of benefit cuts and wage freezes, and an estimate of 7.1 million people out of 13 million young people will be living under the income of what is deemed a decent life. These measures against single parents means that the government are only pushing them further down the ladder. Investment in an infrastructure could mean investing in our poorest children and not a shopping centre, and instead of punishing single mothers and fathers, we could instead support them.
Thank you for watching Family Portrait. Tune in next episode where I'll be introducing polyamorous families and more. See you next week.